Hey, this is Dave and I'm with my brother Rich, and today we're at the lake house and we're getting ready to install a water heater. In the last video we showed you how to remove the water heater, and now we're going to take what used to be a 40-gallon water heater and we're going to put in a 50-gallon. Just gives a little bit more capacity. It was the right time for us to get rid of that one. That one was 12 or 14 years old, and we wanted to upgrade, so we're going to get 10 more gallons and a lot more first hour gallons per hour usage out of it. So that's what we're doing next. All right, so we got the water heater basically about the right position. We got it in a little plastic tub. If you have a sump pump, you can drain it directly in case you have a leak. What we want to do is we'll probably put an alarm inside the tub and plug the hole. And if water heaters tend to leak, whenever they start going bad, they'll tend to leak a little bit at a time, and that'll set your alarm off before you start getting any kind of massive water loss. So the pan is just a precaution for that initial leaking, but hopefully that's many years down the road. Okay. Come on. All right, so we're disconnecting our old connections. Disconnecting these because we're going to put new connections on. These aren't, well, you can see there's 84 bends in them, and we don't want that. I was going to replace this valve. These valves, this one is got to be a number of years old, and it just doesn't hurt to replace it, and we'll be so much the happier when we don't have to come back here next year to replace the leaky valve. So doing it all now and getting rid of everything. And then we got a kit here that gives you everything you need for a new one. We replaced the gas line, the flexible gas line. We got 2 stainless steel braided connectors, and that gives you a little bit of play, and those are real nice when that happens. So we're going to put all these things on as soon as we get everything fixed up. And now these pipes originally were kind of a temporary setup, and we're gonna make them good by putting them in, finishing the ceiling and putting them up in the ceiling. And then this is all stuff that you would not necessarily have to do, but it's beautifying our laundry room, and so that's why we're doing it. And it basically has everything you need to get it all hooked up. At the top of your inlet and outlet, you have these inserts. And you can see they're not plugs, but they're made for water to come through. And we pulled this one out just to show you. What it is it's a heat trap, and it separates this from the fitting on top. And I think the goal is just to keep heat from migrating. These things will get warm, or this one will get warm, and keep heat from migrating up the pipe. It's an efficiency tool. So those just stay on. We'll make our connections on top of those. Putting some thread tape on before we put on our stainless steel supply hose. Usually enough to go around 3 or 4 times. All right, so our supply inlet's going to go there. They're cold, and we're going to cut this pipe cut it a little bit longer than I actually need, because I got some play on this. So we're going to cut this one off right here, and it's just a pipe cutter. And this just works by going around the pipe and increasingly tightening it at each pass, and it just starts digging into the pipe, into a groove it cuts. All right. It just deburrs the cut,
And now we're going to have this. This is a compression fitting. It has your threaded part, the male part, the compression ring, and this is going to go up on the pipe. First that, and then this, and then that, and then this nut is going to get screwed on here and compress it into the upper fitting and make a nice tight seal. Okay. Compression fitting on, and then we're gonna get it lined up here with this. Okay, and that's mostly on. We're gonna go ahead and tighten this compression fitting on here. Okay. All right, so now we can tighten this one up. All right, we're adding the plumber's tape to our male fittings, and the usually do about 3 or 4 wraps around. Again, not overdo it, just enough to provide a good seal. And we'll do this to both male fittings. That one is our compression fitting. That's going to go at the top of the pipe. And then we need to do that tube. And you put the plumber's tape on in the same direction that you're going to turn the fitting. That way you don't unwrap your plumber's tape. So once we've got our plumber's tape on, we're going to go ahead and add our steel hose again. And this is one of those tight but not too tight things. You want to crush it, but it's got to be good and snug. And then if you ever saw any leak, you could always make it tighter. But plumbing's one of those things you just don't want to go crazy on stuff on the fittings. All right, we took this off the old water heater. This is nothing more than a drain valve. This is your TP relief valve, temperature and pressure relief valve. And all we have to do is thread this in here. There we go. And typically this would go to this functions as a way of keeping your water heater from exploding. So if you have too high of temperature or too much pressure, this valve opens up and lets water and pressure out. And so this functions nothing more than a drain tube. That's why we didn't have thread tape on it. All right, so we took the aerator out of this faucet, and we've opened up the hot line, and now we're going to start letting water into the water heater. And what that's going to do is, as the water heater fills, it'll force air. Water is going to come into the cold, start filling the tank. The air that's in the tank will be forced out and go out that sink to the hot opening. And then when we have water coming out of that opening, we'll know that the water heater is full, and we'll let it run a couple more minutes after that, just to get everything cleared out. There you go, yeah. Yep, we're taking off this old fitting because it looked like it moved when we were originally trying to take it off. So I don't want there to be any, don't have to deal with any leak issues. So holding the pipe with the one plumber's wrench so it doesn't turn, and then take this off, and we'll clean the threads and we'll put the new fitting on. We'll put our gas tape around here. And there we go. And you don't put tape on the flared ends, you put it on this end here. All right, so we're gonna just go ahead and put it on the hose, and this is a flared connection, so it's just screwed on. And we'll be checking all these connections before we go too far. And then now we're natural gas only. Okay, tested, good. And then same thing for this one. This end gets tape. This end does not. Put that one in there like so. Tape on it. Go in. This is just about big enough. There, we just don't want to overdo it. It's always tough to tell, but we'll give it a try. We'll put our basically what's a soapy water solution on all of this when we turn the gas on, and we'll look for leaks. And if we got no leaks, we'll continue on. All right, so we're putting just basically soapy water on super soapy water on just everywhere, so that if you get a leak, you're gonna see it because it'll bubble up. All right, so hit the gas here. And the other thing about gas is you'll smell it because they put that stuff in it. But you know, the goal is you don't want to see bubbles. You want it to be perfect. And the gas is at a really low pressure as well. So if there was a leak, in short order, you just see a stack of little bubbles just growing at wherever the leak is. So everything looks good. Turn the gas control knob counterclockwise to the pilot position. Okay, so that's the pilot position right there. And now they want me to, okay, now I hold this down and start pressing our spark generator here. Okay. There we go. Okay, check it out. The other water heater, you just hold it down for a while. Let that pilot light get a good burn going. All right, now we've got the pilot light lit, so we're going to turn this from pilot to on. And that's our, you can see the burners going in there.
Hope this video helps. If you got any questions, let us know. Other than that, if you haven't already subscribed, please do. We got lots more videos coming. See you next time. Thanks for viewing.